I wanted to do something a little different from my normal videos, focusing on my own personal experience growing up as an INFJ and the challenges that I faced. The first thing I'd like to talk about is the difficulty I had fitting in, with anything. School, friend groups, the norm, even my family at times. I always felt like I didn't quite belong. My friendships would reach a certain level, and then we would always seem to drift apart because I would either scare them off by being too deep or by questioning things too much. Like I would just bluntly ask why everyone is cutting their hair into a certain style to follow the crowd, and how silly I thought it was that you give up your own identity just to fit in, and my refusal meant that I would be nudged out of the group. I love learning, and I got on really well with some of the teachers, which resulted in me being called a nerd and a teacher's pet. I just found it easier to converse with adults from a very young age. I struggled connecting with people my own age, whether my cousins, friends at school, or other children I lived near. It felt like I was speaking a different language to them sometimes. They'd look at me like I was from a different planet, then go back to their other friends and forget about me. Little did I know that my depth and constant curiosity about pretty much everything wasn't actually normal and actually made people feel uncomfortable. I moved schools a lot, so it was very difficult to get to know others very well anyway, which did give me a lot of chances to build the confidence that I needed and to force myself to make friends. But I always seemed to end up with the children that nobody else wanted to be friends with. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, because I was one of them too. I guess I made others feel comfortable, like they could be friends with me, and know that I wouldn't judge them, and I didn't. But it did limit me from being able to have more than one friend, because once people saw me, the new girl, talking to and hanging out with so-and-so that they thought was weird, I was also labelled weird, and then nobody would want to talk to me, even though they had no idea who I was. I guess this is maybe why I decided that certain teachers were better to talk to, because they would actually take the time to get to know me. I was very good at figuring out which teachers were decent, and which ones would just treat me like most of the other kids did, like I was an annoying alien with an insatiable hunger for knowledge, who liked pointing out beliefs that had no foundation, or playing devil's advocate because I wanted to know why they believed that, without being told it's just science, or it's just the truth. I butted heads with a lot of people, mainly those in authority, because I would question why I had to do what they said. I never just went along with things because everyone else did. For example, when I was told as a child that the Big Bang caused our planet to exist out of thin air, but nobody could give me any proof or reasons as to how and why it happened, and the scientists today still haven't got any hard evidence, I just couldn't accept it, especially if my only reasoning was that it was in the school textbook and that's what everybody else believes. My brain doesn't allow me to accept things without question. I will research and I will come to my own conclusions, and as I have matured, I care even less if people think I'm ridiculous for doing it. I guess most children aren't like I was. They will just accept something as truth because an adult said so, but I never did, and I think that rubbed many adults the wrong way. I didn't respect their authority simply because they were older than me. I had to see through their actions that they deserved that respect. My TI wants truth, fairness, and honesty, and if I didn't have those qualities, then I just wouldn't respect that person. As I have got older, I have learned to be tactful in doing this, but as a child I just said it how it was. This questioning of authority was difficult for my ISTJ dad, and several times we butted heads because I was always asking why I should do what so-and-so has said, and being told you just have to didn't really sit well for me. His desire to follow the traditional hierarchy and my desire to blaze through it all and make my own path didn't always mesh together nicely, but it definitely helped me to learn how to put across my opinions and points of view in a way that will be listened to by other people, even if they don't agree with where I am coming from. I was often quiet as a child because I never knew what to say to people to get them to like me, and that was always taken to mean I was stuck up and must have thought that I was better than everyone else. So it was a lose-lose situation. If I spoke to people, they would think I was weird, and if I kept to myself, they'd also think I was weird. It didn't help my cause that I was good at a lot of things at school. I got good grades, I was good at sports, I was good at drama, and this worked in my favour if we were on a team, because others would always want me to join, if there was a race, for example, because they knew I was a fast runner. But then one sports day when I had a knee injury, I only came second in the race, and I was told by my team that what was the point in having me if I wasn't going to win, and then they just left me. I know that INFJs are perfectionists, but my classmates definitely didn't help that part at all. I would often score 100% in tests, and be called a nerd for it, but the second I got a question wrong, the whole class would turn against me and call me stupid, even though I was still the top scorer, and they may have only scored 60%. I don't know if these sorts of experiences are normal for INFJs. I know we do struggle to fit in, but I don't know whether other INFJs disliked school as much as I did, and experienced a lot of bullying for no reason too. I am thankful I went through this though, because it completely destroyed my confidence, and forced me to rebuild it on a strong foundation. It taught me to believe in myself, because I couldn't trust anyone else to, and to not let what other people say or think affect me. It has helped me to stand up and to not take any crap from anyone, and also to not allow my FE to run wild and thus get me hurt. I've always known I was different from everyone else, and finding out I'm an INFJ has helped me to understand why, at least in part anyway. I know that this isn't the whole story, but it definitely helps to explain why I've never been able to fit in. I don't fit in with sensors, and they will never quite understand me and where I come from. This gave me the push to want to understand myself more, which has helped me on this journey. I hope this was useful in some way. Let me know if you experienced anything similar or completely different growing up as an INFJ or even any other type. Sometimes I do wish we were born with a manual, so others around us could understand us a little bit better, especially when we are young and we don't even understand ourselves. Thank you for your time.